Hey man, so have you entertained this idea that you might be an introvert, but you're not convinced that you're meant to be this way? So if this is you, stick around because in this video, I'm gonna give you 5 reasons that you're actually an undercover extrovert. You just have to overcome your social anxiety. So let's get into it now. And before we get into it, just wanna let you know that this is the work that I do. My name is Rubin. I'm a transformational coach specializing in social anxiety and self-esteem just for men. So if you want to join a tribe of guys who are like-minded, they're also reaching for their fullest potential, but they're ready to support you and uplift you and motivate you. Come join us on the inside. We have a new Facebook group. Link is below the video. Now, ultimately, extroversion and introversion, what it ultimately comes down to is where you receive your energy from. So you'll typically hear this advice. Extroverts receive their energy. They get energized from people. Introverts, they recharge and they get their energy from being alone. And here's what I want to empower you with today's video is you can choose. If you resolve the underlying social anxiety, you choose whether you want to be extroverted today or you want to be introverted. It's up to you. And so we're gonna look at these 5 characteristics of introverts, but we're gonna look at it through the lens of social anxiety. More importantly, we're gonna look at them as specific characteristics of social anxiety that you can overcome. So let's get into it now. So number 1 is introverts claim that they're drained by groups. Their social battery, it has to recharge for days or weeks after hanging out with people. But here's the thing. What if for you, when you go into a group, this is what you experience? Feeling completely disconnected from your body. It's like an out-of-body experience. It's like you're on the outside peering into the group. What if you're experiencing this? You're dissociated and you're in your head. Or maybe you're anticipating being the center of attention. You're fearing that maybe you're going to be put on the spot. People are going to see that you're anxious. Your anxiety is going to get exposed. And so you're managing this inner turmoil inside the entire time. That is absolutely exhausting. It's draining. Of course, you're going to need to recharge. But the dissociation and the fear, the anticipation fear that you're going to be put on the spot, that is something that you can overcome. The number 2 characteristic of introverts that you might find yourself saying to yourself is, I hate small talk. Of course, but that's your introvert pride talking. Because on the inside, what's happening during a conversation? You might be fending off a full-on panic attack inside, trying to keep the panic down, or that voice is churning, thinking of what to say next. You can't churn it off. You're not even listening. You're not even present with the other person. You're so in your head consumed with thinking of what to say next, or you're fearing that your mind's gonna go completely blank. Of course, you hate small talk. But again, you can make it so your mind stops going blank. You can heal the panic inside so it's not so exhausting as you're churning on what to say next. You can be more present. Number 3 is introverts can't handle confrontation like extroverts can. Completely false. I remember a psychologist told me one time because I really wanted to know. My manager at work was telling me, Rubin, you're an introvert. You need to play to your introvert strengths. But again, it didn't feel like who I truly was on the inside. So the psychologist told me, well, you know, when there's conflict in the room and something goes off, the extroverts are the one who lean into the conflict. The introverts are the ones who withdraw. But here's the thing again, what if you have an overwhelming freeze response? So somebody is confrontational, they say something to you, they ask you a question, you end up just completely freezing and losing your words. Or you have this fear of trying to get into the confrontation, but you have this fear of getting overly emotional. Like you're gonna burst out into tears if you try to express yourself or assert some sort of boundary. And this has nothing to do with being an introvert. You can overcome your freeze response. So when it's time to speak, your brain doesn't lock up on you and you actually express what you want to express. You can also learn to regulate your emotions so when the conflict comes, you don't get overwhelmed by those emotions and you can stay grounded in the face of that conflict. Number 4 is introverts enjoy solitude. They enjoy being alone while extroverts enjoy being among people. And why is this untrue? Because for you, for example, there's a fine line between solitude and being isolated. And for you, you're on the verge of isolation. You're over here in isolation and it's actually very lonely. And if you think about it, this isolated feeling, this feeling of being completely alone, no one understands you, it's not much different than when you're right in the middle of a group. So you're hanging out with your friend group, you're hanging out in a group of people, you still feel alone. You still feel isolated. You still feel lonely even when you're right in the middle of hanging out with that group of people. And this experience when you're with people, if it wasn't so overwhelming, if you didn't dread it so much, if you experienced more connection here, the less time you would spend on your own. And lastly, number 5 here is that as an introvert, it takes you more time to take in information and process it. In other words, you can't think on your feet like the extroverts do. And why is this untrue? Because you might have some underlying PTSD. So you have this startled response, you can't process and you can't think on your feet. But what if for you, you have these past humiliating experiences? For example, maybe the teacher used to put you on the spot in front of the class. You had to read. It was embarrassing. It was absolutely humiliating. Or maybe every time you needed to perform something, your parents and your coaches were screaming at you, shaming you. It was completely embarrassing, humiliating, and overwhelming. So now, every time that you are the center of attention, it's time to think on your feet. But on the inside, there's this whole internal overwhelm going on. Of course, it's going to take you more time to process things. That has nothing to do with introversion. That's past trauma. Okay, and so these are 5 characteristics that you can change, you can transform. So stop putting yourself in a box. Stop labeling yourself as an introvert. Now, my old manager, I was trying to tell you about, she's trying to convince me, Rubin, you're an introvert, play to your introvert strengths. Amazing woman. She's still my friend. I love this woman. But at that time, she had me take the Myers-Briggs test. I tested as 67% introverted. And the last time I took the Myers-Briggs test, which was in 2019, I tested as 58% extroverted. Your personality is fluid. It can transform. I don't even take the test anymore because it's so meaningless for me. I feel like it puts people in a box. It's putting you in a box and it's not allowing you to see that that is just a starting point. You started off with a certain personality, you can heal your social anxiety, and then you can completely transform your personality so you can be an extrovert when you want to. So you have that freedom to choose. So again, if you need more support, join us on the inside. Join that Facebook group. The link is below the video. Within that group, I offer free trainings, free resources. I do live Q&As, live coachings. So come join us on the inside if you need more personalized support and to meet and connect with a great group of guys and just make some friends who are on the exact same journey as you are. So make sure you click that link below the video to join. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you found the video helpful. Here's some other videos you could check out next, and I will see you in the next video. I will see you soon, all right? Peace out.